Hobbes Leviathan. Do we need strong governments? The year is 1651. England is still reeling from a brutal civil war, a stark, terrifying reminder of what happens when central authority collapses. In this atmosphere of fear and intellectual ferment, Thomas Hobbes releases his magnum opus, Leviathan, a work that remains one of the most provocative and fiercely debated texts in political philosophy. It's more than just a dusty historical document, it's a chillingly relevant argument about human nature, society, and the necessity of absolute power. Hobbes essentially asks us a fundamental question that cuts to the core of our daily lives. Are we better off free or safe? The brutal logic of the state of nature. To understand Hobbes's dramatic conclusion that we need an overwhelmingly strong government, we must first appreciate his starting point, the state of nature. He doesn't see this as a romantic, peaceful paradise. Quite the opposite. For Hobbes, the state of nature is the condition of humanity without any common power to keep us in awe. It is a state of war of all against all. Imagine a world where there are no laws, no law enforcement, no courts, and no common moral code enforced by an authority. Hobbes argues that in this scenario, human beings, being fundamentally equal in their capacity to kill one another, and driven by self-preservation and competition for scarce resources, would live in constant dread. Every person is a potential enemy. There is no industry, no culture, and no comfort. As Hobbes famously and starkly puts it, life in this state is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. This isn't just theory. It's a thought experiment designed to shake us out of our complacency. He's saying that our very human nature, our passions and our desires, if left unchecked, will inevitably lead to mutually assured destruction. Hobbes, the social contract, and the birth of the Leviathan. The natural human desire to escape this hellish existence is the engine that drives the creation of the state. This escape is facilitated through the social contract. Hobbes's contract is unique because it is a transfer, not a delegation of rights. In a collective, rational act, every individual surrenders virtually all of their natural rights, the right to govern oneself and the right to everything, to a single, central, and absolute sovereign power. This sovereign, which Hobbes names the Leviathan, after the mythical, colossal sea creature from the Book of Job, is the artificial person or body that holds the combined power of all individuals. The defining features of the Leviathan. Absoluteness. The sovereign's power must be undivided and absolute. It cannot be limited by law, by the people, or by a division of powers, like a separation into legislative, executive, and judicial branches. To divide power, in Hobbes's view, is to invite the very civil strife the state was created to prevent. Irrevocability. Once the covenant is made, it cannot be revoked. The people gave up their right to rebellion when they entered the contract. The only legitimate reason to challenge the sovereign is if the sovereign fails in their one core duty, to ensure the physical safety of the subjects. If the Leviathan cannot protect you, the contract is broken and you are immediately thrown back into the state of nature. Law as command. For Hobbes, justice is simply following the laws laid down by the sovereign. There is no higher, natural justice that supersedes the Leviathan's command. The law is right because the sovereign commanded it. X, the radical nature of Hobbes' solution. Why such an extreme solution? Why can't we have a nice government, a limited monarchy, or a democracy with checks and balances? Hobbes's answer is that power abhors a vacuum. Any attempt to limit the sovereign's power by installing a competing authority, like a parliament or a constitution that the sovereign must obey, creates two sovereigns. When the two inevitably disagree, the people will be forced to choose sides, and this instantly reinstates the state of war. For Hobbes, the risk of tyranny under an absolute ruler, though terrible, is always preferable to the certainty of anarchy and the state of nature. He views political stability as the highest good, the precondition for everything else we value: commerce, science, peace, and long life. In a world of wolves, you need a bigger, scarier wolf, the Leviathan, to keep the smaller wolves at bay. Oh, the modern dilemma, a relevant warning. While few modern nations operate under the kind of absolute monarchy Hobbes envisioned, his argument remains a powerful cautionary tale about the fragility of order. We see his influence in modern debates. 1. Security versus liberty. Every time a government implements mass surveillance, restricts freedom of speech, or expands executive powers in the name of national security, e.g., following a terrorist attack or a pandemic, we are wrestling with the core Hobbesian trade-off. How much liberty are you willing to surrender for guaranteed safety? 2. Failed states. The collapse of central governments in regions like Somalia, Sudan, or Haiti offer a current real-world glimpse, a horrifying parallel to Hobbes's state of nature. These situations, characterized by warlords, lawlessness, and mass displacement, serve as brutal evidence of the consequences of the Leviathan's absence. 3. The rise of populism. Modern political discourse, often characterized by deep, irreconcilable divisions, can feel like a creeping return to a war of all against all on the ideological front. The desire for a strong, decisive leader, a strong man, who promises to cut through the messy divisions and restore order, often echoes the psychological need for a Leviathan. Hobbes's Leviathan forces us to confront the darkness he perceives within the human spirit. It serves not as a blueprint for ideal governance, but as a sober, perhaps pessimistic reminder of what we are capable of when the lights of civilization dim and the chains of authority are removed. Do we need strong governments? If you believe, as Hobbes did, that humans are fundamentally driven by an endless, insatiable desire for power that ceases only in death, then the answer is a resounding, even frightening, yes. The Leviathan is the price we pay for being able to sleep soundly at night. This conversation is just scratching the surface of Hobbes's monumental ideas, and I'd love to know what you think. Do you agree with Hobbes's view of human nature, or are people inherently good? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for more deep dives into big ideas, and give this video a like if it made you think. Your engagement helps these philosophical discussions reach more people.